Hey guys, how's it going? Just thought I'd go ahead and do a video review here of something that's not Transformers related for once. Obviously, this is some Masters of the Universe toys that we got here. We got, now these guys are not from the Classic line or the Classics line. They're from the He-Man revival that they tried to do maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Ran for a season or two on Cartoon Network. I'm not entirely sure when it came out. Obviously, we got He-Man, Skeletor, and Battle Cat there in the background. I'll just go ahead and start off with a really fast size comparison. Here is He-Man Skeletor next to Transformers Generations Universe Cup, which is a very large deluxe. And he's about the same size as these figures. So basically, for all you Transformers collectors out there, they're basically the sizes of large deluxes. There you go. Anyway, let's get this guy out of the way. And now we'll talk about the individual figures themselves a little bit more. We'll actually start off with Battle Cat since he's kind of the biggest one by far. So let's get He-Man and Skeletor there out of the way. And we will talk about... And He-Man just toppled. That's par for the course for these guys, unfortunately. Anyway, we'll just start off with Battle Cat. He is actually a pretty decent looking update of the original, I think. You know, he's pretty well detailed. He comes with some nice armor. You know, obviously, He-Man can ride him real easily. So that's pretty cool. You know, definitely a nice update to the original Battle Cat figure. So, get He-Man off of him. And, yeah, he's got 2 firing missiles. Well, it'll fire further than that. There you go. And he's got a few little features. I think, yeah, if you, well, it's supposed to, like, kind of move his jaws a little bit when you move one of his legs. It doesn't work great on mine, but that is a feature he's supposed to have. I guess it's some sort of leg chomp gimmick. But overall, you know, pretty nice looking figure. I'm going to go ahead and actually remove all his armor so you can see what he looks like, just the plain figure itself, without the armor on him. And, you know, pretty cool, actually, I think. That's a really cool looking tiger figure. You know, he doesn't have a whole lot of articulation. Oh wait, I just figured out his... Mine, I guess it's old, so it doesn't work that well. When you press this button here in the back, his leg's supposed to go up and he's supposed to chomp. But that just... yeah, I guess it's just because mine's an older figure. Anyway, here's a close-up of his face. That looks pretty cool. Obviously, his mouth opens up and got a tongue in there and some teeth. Pretty cool looking. He doesn't have a whole lot of articulation. His head doesn't rotate, unfortunately. He just has 1 point of articulation on each of his legs, and that's where the leg attaches to the body, and his tail rotates. And that's a little bit disappointing in such a fairly modern toy. I kind of would have hoped they would have updated the articulation on these guys. Now, I know on the Masters of the Universe Classics line, they have much better articulation. Those are basically updated versions of the classic molds. They're the classic molds, but they have, you know, like modern articulation, which is pretty cool. I just wish they had kind of done that with these guys. I have no idea why they didn't, since the technology was certainly there in that time period to do it, but, you know, hey... whatever. It's a minor complaint. Anyway, that's Battle Cat. So let's go ahead and get his armor out of the way and get Battle Cat out of the way. And now we'll talk about Evil Skeletor. He comes with basically 2 accessories. He comes with his staff, and he comes with this sword that splits into 2, and it likes to split on you a lot. Let's see if I can get it back together real easy here. Nothing's ever easy. There we go. Come on. Go back together. Come on, Skeletor. There we go. Anyway, he does have an action feature. He's got a button there on his back, and if you press it, he swings his arm. So I guess that's something if you like that sort of thing. But anyway, let me just go ahead and zoom in on Skeletor for you so you can see him a little bit better. And, you know, I like the way this update looks too. I think they really did a nice job capturing the essence of the original characters while updating their looks some for the new series. They're not perfect. I mean, the biggest problem I have with the figures is the lack of modern articulation. In fact, their articulation is very similar to what the original Masters of the Universe toys were, and that's, yeah, not loving that. So I'm going to go ahead and just strip his weapons off of him so you can just see the detailing of the figure himself. And as you can see, he is relatively well detailed. His muscles are very well defined. His clothing is highly detailed, or, you know, detailed. You know, it's a really nice sculpt. He's a great looking sculpt. You know, very nice overall looking, but, you know, real limited articulation. His head rotates. Rotates at the shoulders, wrist rotation, and he's got movement at the legs and waist rotation. And that is it for his articulation. Very substandard for a fairly modern toy, but that is what they decided to do. Now he can, he's got a strap on his back, so, you know, if his sword cooperates and actually unites into two here, there we go. It can sort of fit in there. Doesn't fit real well. His staff does better in there, but that looks kind of funny. You know, and that is pretty much it for Skeletor at the moment. So, just give him back his magic staff there. Kind of put him off to the side. And now we'll talk about the main event, He-Man. He-Man. Anyway, again, pretty good update to the classic character. Really well sculpted, and overall, really great looking toy. Again, limited articulation. Are we seeing a trend? I think we are. He's got, you know, points of articulation at the top of his legs. No knees, no feet, nothing like that. His action feature has him kind of snap back on his waist. He's got wrist rotation and he's got shoulder articulation, and that's it on his for his arms, and his head does rotate, and that is all of his articulation as well. Very limited articulation, just like the other characters, and but that being said, looks great. You know, nice updates to all of his classic weapons there. There's his classic battle axe, of course, his sword of power, and his classic shield. So overall, great looking update to He-Man. And of course, you can stow his weapons on his back, you know, because he's got the power of Grayskull flowing from that sword. So, you know, pretty cool. That's pretty much going to wrap up this whole thing about these figures. I think they're pretty decent. Disappointing articulation-wise, but the sculpts are real nice. I mean, if you're a big He-Man fan, you probably already have these. But honestly, if you don't, I think, and you're interested in acquiring some of Masters of the Universe figures, I honestly think you'd be better suited to buy some of the classics. And the reason I don't really have any is because of, well, a couple reasons. One, low availability of the figures I want. Two, their costs are about $35 a pop. And as you know from the rest of my video reviews, I am primarily a Transformers collector by far. That being said, He-Man was actually the very first toy line I actually collected, because He-Man debuted when I was like 5 years old. So I was absolutely the perfect age to be swept up in He-Man mania. I think it was actually the first cartoon on American TV that was based on a toy line. So I think we have He-Man to thank for that long, grand tradition. When I was a kid, I had almost the whole line. I had tons of the play sets, tons of the figures, tons of the vehicles. I really wish I still had them. Unfortunately, I don't because, when I was growing up, I went through the whole I don't need toys anymore kind of thing. When I was a teenager, got rid of them all. Yeah, I'm kicking myself for that now, obviously. Anyway, that's going to wrap this whole thing up. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll see you next time.